Hello, thanks for joining a new video. I'll share what I liked and disliked about the Google Pixel 9a after testing it, so don't buy the Google Pixel 9a before watching this video. We consider its launch price in Mexico, which was 11,999 pesos. However, it's important to note that this device arrived in Mexico a bit later. When I first evaluated it, I had purchased it in the United States, where the price was much lower. The price differs slightly, which might lead to varying perceptions. Additionally, you can often find it in far more appealing promotions at significantly lower prices. This could allow us to overlook some of its negative aspects. However, as usual, we will evaluate it primarily based on the initial launch price. Let's begin with my favorite part. It's quite a compact device and it feels very solid in your hand. The design, I believe, is quite appealing. You'll notice it looks particularly unique with its matte finish. On the back, it appears very attractive, and by having aluminum frames, it gains a remarkable level of durability in case of any accidental drops. These frames are designed to protect the phone effectively. In fact, I've already dropped it once, and it has a small mark, but honestly, it withstands impacts quite well. The screen is compatible with HDR content. Therefore, showing this type of content is of very high quality, and it is something that is typically found more often in higher-end or pricier devices. Additionally, the main camera will offer recording capabilities in 4K at 60 frames per second. This is another feature that is commonly found in more expensive devices. Moreover, the camera is expected to perform exceptionally well regarding the speed at which it can capture images. The front camera takes great selfies. This is quite a large camera, and it offers excellent color quality. One might even say that the photos it takes resemble high-end photography. However, it does come with a fixed focus, which might limit your versatility a bit. Despite this, for its range, I believe it competes quite well. One feature I truly love is the Add Me function available on this device. It allows the person taking the picture to also be included in the frame, which is a really nice touch. It truly is quite impressive, and is a feature I would have thought to be exclusive and reserved solely for the Pixel flagship devices. However, the fact that they have included it in their mid-range device makes it one of the most appealing options available. If you enjoy going on vacations and taking pictures, but often find yourself being the one left out of the photos, or you end up taking selfies that just don't look as good as regular photographs, then trust me, you are going to absolutely love this feature. Actually, all the photography in general is quite impressive, featuring natural colors and good contrast, which makes it look like high quality. The video recording capability is particularly impressive, especially in backlit scenes where it really stands out for the range it competes in. It offers good stabilization as well. Additionally, the front camera records with very good quality, and at times it seems like a high-end camera. As a Pixel 8 will have excellent AI features and get updates quickly. It's a plus compared to other Androids. Its battery is 5,100 meters, which maybe doesn't seem too big. But considering it's a more or less compact device, it can become something attractive, but mostly because of the test results. Since, for example, in my foreground drain test, it reached 5 hours with 40 minutes more than an hour compared to most cell phones I test. And in my YouTube test, it reached 19 hours, which I also think is more than average. So the battery, I would say, is a plus point. It also includes wireless charging to place this device on some base, although consider that it doesn't have a magnet. It also supports eSIM to be able to add data plans simply with QR codes, which is something not so common in mid-range devices. But something completely strange in the category is that if you can project your screen by connecting some HDMI adapter to this USB-C port. It's likely the sole device in this range that allows this feature, as it's typically reserved for high-end flashy devices. And finally, the performance is excellent when it comes to running applications. In my testing, it only took about 1.9 seconds to open each of the 16 different apps that I use, so for applications it performs really well, fluidly and smoothly. However, now let me share what aspects I wasn't pleased with. For starters, its distribution is quite limited, so you do not have so many options to choose from to find discounts. And more, the software may come a little more limited. For example, does not offer us some equalizer for sound. The frames are terribly thick. It looks like a device from about 4 years ago or so. The in-display fingerprint reader allows us 4 registrations, when most devices allow us 5. Also, the software is limited, especially in security. It lacks modes, no app lock or child mode. Plus, the charger isn't in the box, so that's an extra cost. Charging is very slow. While battery life is good, it takes nearly 2 hours to charge. And finally, the wireless background screen projection is through Google Cast. And the truth is that the experience is not very positive. Fortunately, this is compensated by what I had told you a moment ago, that you can project via cable, so there is not so much inconvenience there. But you should know that the screen projection is not very good when it is wireless. And if you already bought it, let me know your opinion in the comments. Tell me what your experience was like and what you like most about this device, as well as what annoyed you the most. I think we can share good opinions in the comments. For now, we've come to the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can point it out, and we'll see you next time.